Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. And welcome to TechByte on Salam Media. My name is Faizel Patel. It is just gone 2 minutes past 7 o'clock on this Sunday evening. It's an absolute pleasure to be in your company with the technology show. We're going to be speaking about a number of stories that has been making headlines in many of the tech spaces across the globe. So remember, you can tune in via the different Salam Media platforms. That's on social media via Facebook, also on this particular platform on Twitter, and inshallah, this program will also be podcasted on YouTube. So, in case you miss anything, you can check it out there as well. And if you want to interact with me, you can go to my Twitter handle at Faizel Patel 143. Also, you can also then go to my facebook.com// Faisal Patel. I just want to shift myself over. Sorry about that. But yeah, so you can get me on Twitter at Faizel Patel 143 and also on facebook.com// Faisal Patel. And I'm also on Instagram at Faisal Patel 143. And then you can check out my YouTube channel where I do all the reviews, the unboxings, and other videos. Please do hit the like buttons on the videos and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So, as I mentioned, a lot to look forward to in the program. We're speaking about Samsung's Galaxy S23. I know it's a bit early, but well, there's going to be some important features that's coming to that phone. We're also speaking about the fastest or the best 5G phones currently in South Africa, right? 16 days of activism. Well, there's a wonderful app that you can use if you are a victim of GBV, and to report it, you can do it silently. Basically, it gives you a voice to stand up against that scoundrel that's actually committing GBV against you. And then finally, we know that our young daughters and our females are sometimes subjected to lurid behavior on the social media platforms. And well, what has happened now is that Meta, we know that the holding company for Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube have now introduced basically some features that will protect our young women. So, yeah, we're going to be jumping into that story first and foremost in just a minute or so. But before that, I want to share some information and just say a huge jazakallah thank you and a heartfelt appreciation to all my supporters on social media, on the different platforms, to my colleagues at Salam Media, particularly the management of Salam Media, that's Ponti Molitsane, for the wonderful well wishes. If you're not aware, and I don't want to gloat, I'm merely mentioning it because I've received so much congratulatory messages that I felt this platform was the platform to just say Jazakallah. So this week on Thursday, among 1,750 entries, I was among 11 people that won the Vodacom Journalist of the Year award in the opinion category. So I shared the winning stage with the likes of Dessen Tathia, Lisa Stein, and many others across the country. So it was an absolute pleasure to share rather the stage with them. And as I mentioned, that I did win the award for Journalist of the Year. That's the Vodacom Journalist of the Year for the opinion category. And I've written three stories that the judges found very what they called compelling. And that was first and foremost the loss of my mom, Farida Patel, in June 16. Very heartbreaking time for me and my brothers Yusuf and Ibrahim. So I wrote a story about that. I also wrote a story about seeing my son after 17 years of separation. You can read all the story. I don't give you too much on there. And in the third and final story, I know I don't want to speak about the Jewish aspect of it, but there's a movie that's called Schindler's List. If you watch the movie, there is a little girl in the beginning of the movie that wears a red coat. All right, and she walks in the street as the Jews are killed alongside her by the Germans. And I had an interview with that little girl, which was an exclusive for the Citizen newspaper. Her name is Olivia Dabrowska, and she spoke exclusively to me about how she is helping Ukrainian refugees cross over from Ukraine into Poland. And you can hear her voice in her own words, the story, the heartbreaking story, and her efforts to help them. So those are the awards that these stories that actually won me that award. So once again, jazakallah to everybody that supported me, and for all the congratulatory messages. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala award you abundantly for those kind words. But anyway, jumping into our first story, we're speaking about Samsung. The S22 is out, the Ultra, the Plus, and also the standard version. But well, they're already talking about the S23 version, and this S23 version may get satellite communication functions. So yeah, let's speak a little bit about it. Following in the steps of Apple, yes, Apple announced that if you are not within a cellular you may able to use satellite functions for SOS functionality. Now, sadly, it is not yet available for South Africa. It's only for the US and, I'm not mistaken, Australia and Canada at the moment. It's currently available. So basically, Samsung announced that it is conducting technology development to mount satellite communication functions in the next generation Galaxy smartphone series. So that will be obviously next year. Obviously, looking forward to that as well. According to a report from ET News, Samsung is working with a company called Iridium Communications to bring some sort of satellite communication systems to the Galaxy S23. Now, Iridium provides voice calling and data communication services through the 66 low orbit communication satellites, is known as LEO. Now, I don't go into the technical aspect of it, but just give you a basic idea. Samsung has also reportedly been preparing for the past 2 years to overcome the technological challenges of satellite communication. No doubt it is quite difficult to obviously, develop and create the innovation. According to the report, due to the nature of satellite communication technology, the antenna or the RF antenna must be large enough to enable voice and high-speed data communication. Now, the biggest technical challenge is said to make the antenna small enough to be installed in a general smartphone. So imagine having a little small antenna in the palm of your hand in the phone that you have. Competition, in comparison, Apple has already partnered with satellite company called Global Star to provide satellite communication to the iPhone 14, but its data processing capacity is limited to rescue requests in emergency situations. That's what I was speaking about, only for SOS at the moment. All right. And then Chinese smartphone maker Huawei is also able to send and receive limited text messages using Beidou satellites. So if the South Korean company, that's Samsung, manages to bring satellite connectivity with the Galaxy S23, it can proudly stand among the few brands that have the feature in their smartphones. Availability, however, it remains to be seen how widely the feature would be made available in South Africa, as Apple currently only has the emergency communication feature, as I mentioned, enabled in Canada and the United States. The report says that Samsung is reviewing the related features on the Galaxy S23 to provide functional feedback and apply normally to the S23 functions. So inshallah as well, inshallah. Anyway, going to our next story, one of the things that a lot of us should be checking, and I hope you check it at home on your phone, especially when you're in a Wi-Fi connected area, whether your fiber speeds or your 5G speeds or your phone speeds is up to the standard. There's a company called, excuse me, Ookla. Now, the speed test app that you have on your phone, that is basically developed by Ookla. All right. Now, I'm going to share with you the information that Ukla shared with me about the fastest 5G smartphones in South Africa. Now, tomorrow being Cyber Monday, hopefully, if you are looking for a smartphone and you want 5G connectivity, maybe this will help you make an informed choice. So, with Black Friday and Cyber Monday, well, Black Friday is basically over. Cyber Monday is tomorrow, just a day away. Ookla has revealed data to help shoppers navigate deals with hard data on the fastest 5G mobile phones. The global fixed broadband and mobile network testing company used Speed Test Intelligence to look at 5G performance data in the 10 countries with the highest number of connected mobile devices, according to GSMA, and that also had established in 5G markets during the third quarter of 2022. So, dear listeners, viewers, what did the analysis reveal? The analysis examined the five fastest popular 5G devices in a given country. Now, there's many other countries, but I focus specifically and I reported specifically on South Africa. To be included, a device had to have a market share of greater than or equal to 0.5% of all devices and a minimum sample size of 100 devices in a given market. Each of the market UCLA examined included only 5G samples from every 5G provider in a given country. So, what does it mean? It means performance most likely varies network to network and country to country. This is what UCLA said. So UCLA said speed test in intelligence showed that competition for the this is now South Africa, right, dear listeners? UCLA said speed test intelligence showed that competition for the fastest popular 5G was incredibly tight in South Africa, with no statistically fastest 5G device during the review period. So, what does that mean? Well, basically, it means all the devices that they mentioned were on par or very close to one another without any big margins. All right, if you've got a pen ready or if you're recording this, and this is the five devices that I'm going to share with you, if you missed this, it will be available on the YouTube channel and you can check it out there as well. So, the median download speeds basically, if you download something, this gives you the speed at which the phones download at 5G connectivity. The first device. And the first device, which is top of the log, is the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus. So the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus recorded a speed of up to 228.31 megabits per second. So Samsung tops that particular list. Second on the list is Apple iPhone 13 mini at 226.44 megabits per second. And then Samsung again comes in at the third spot at the S22 Ultra at 218.26 megabits per second. And then Apple takes the next two spots at Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max at 212.94 megabits per second and Apple iPhone 13 Pro at 211.73 megabits per second. Now, UCLA also said that consumers looking to upgrade their phones have some great options, and they suspect the new Apple and Samsung models are incredibly competitive with these devices. So the new Apple iPhone 14 is out, and no doubt you must be asking questions about why I didn't report on it. While UCLA edited some newer devices, which is the Apple iPhone 14, Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4, and Google Pixel 7 launched in select markets on different days and may not have been included in the third quarter 2022 analysis. All right. And then the launch of the new iPhone 14 and Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 has already shown that new devices are speeding up ahead and they will be monitoring results for the rest of the year. So look out for that results coming soon. And then finally, if you end up getting a great Black Friday, well, Black Friday, as I mentioned, over again, but Cyber Monday deal to upgrade your smartphone, be sure to download the iOS or Android Speed Test app. I only use this amazing app. Really gives you accurate figures with the ping and the download and upload speeds and many other features. And you can have a record of it as well. So upgrade your phone to check out the Speed Test app to make sure your mobile operator is delivering the speeds you need. So sometimes you might find a lag on your phone and you find it's a bit too slow, and maybe who knows, your operator is throttling you. You can actually check them out. So yeah, check this out and download that app if you haven't got it already. Right, coming on to a very serious topic, and that is GBV. Now, we know that the 16 days of gender based violence, violence against women and children, kicked off on Friday. And there's a nice little app that I want to share with you, which was shared to me by a company. And yeah, I mean, we don't know what is happening behind closed doors, isn't it? A woman can come to work, it could be a mother, it could be your sister, it could be a colleague, and they look all fine, but behind closed doors, they are getting beaten by this rogue husbands of theirs, by their boyfriends, and they don't know what to do. They get threatened and they can't report it to police, and it's very sad indeed. To lift your hand on a woman, it is just totally unacceptable. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of campaigns going through with regards to 16 days of gender-based violence, and if you are a victim, and I'm appealing now to all those that are tuned in this evening. If you are a woman and if you are tuned in this evening And if you are a victim of GBV, I urge you, dear sister, and I urge you to please, please report this. Do not be scared. Do not be afraid, because your voice can save a lot of other people. So let's come on to this particular app. As I mentioned, as the country officially kicked off its illegal days of activism on Friday, and Kwanele is addressing some of the reasons stopping women from laying a criminal complaint against their attacker. Could be a husband, could be a brother, could be a boyfriend, could be whatever. All right, with the help of technology at the palm of a woman's hand. And listen to this, at no cost. It costs you absolutely nothing to report it. Kwanele said women often feel ill equipped, powerless, and exposed, trying to put forward a brave face to seek help from law enforcement and the justice system following a GBV attack. So you could go to work tomorrow morning and your friend Cynthia or Fatima or Rukhshana or Liesel or Lucy is sitting next to you and they're smiling so lovely and whatever it is, but you don't know whether they are being attacked or whether being abused at home. It is up to them to speak out, and you can assist them if you figure out anything. Kwanele said women feel equipped, as I mentioned. Kwanele said its mobile app, right, gives women access to immediate response from the safety cluster, followed by in-person assistance to fill out a police affidavit. So immediately it goes to the police, to having access to some of the country's top lawyers. So you got legal assistance and their service. And listen to this, pro bono. So if you don't know what it means, Latin word for free of charge, pro bono. So ladies, women, sisters in Islam, please, I urge you, take this app, download this app if you are being abused. Let's get those rogues out there and report them. The Kwanele app tries to bridge all the gaps in the current system, which is failing GBV survivors by working closely with the police, non-profit organizations, and the National Prosecuting Authority, that's the NPA, to build a network of support for women. From the moment a woman is in need, activates a panic button on a cell phone app. Yes, panic button. Justice Advocate Casey Juries, who is leading the organization's legal team, said the app is about pushing justice in South Africa. That's what we want, to bring these perpetrators to book. She said, although the South African police service is generally overburdened, the app doesn't try to overtake the role of SAPS. It's not taking over the role, but assisting women. To quote her, there's a major element of secondary traumatization for women in South Africa, specifically women of color. So if we can introduce a mechanism for victims to get legal support from the go to get go, and to have the organization and to hold their in support and secure a conviction. Women of color, blacks, coloreds, Indians, right? All those specifically aimed at them, right? It could be a Muslim woman, it could be your sister, it could be your sister-in-law. Who knows? Maybe her husband is a scoundrel, he's a dirtbag, and he's hitting his wife. We need to report these things, dear listeners. No cost, Caroline B in G4, Kwanele board chairman or chairwoman, said the NPO has over 30 legal volunteers offering their services to members at no cost. Now, obviously, you want to know how it works. Well, women create a profile. You go onto the app, you create a profile on the cost free Kwanele app that will enable them to use this panic button in a crisis. So you have to register, right? Create a profile. Volunteers are standing by to alert emergency services teams, police officers, and social workers close by to assist. All right. So, dear listeners, women specifically, if you are getting abused at home, you got your phone with you. You know, sometimes the police take too long to answer. Maybe a friend takes too long to answer. Go into the bathroom, go into your room, go into a secluded spot, take a walk around the block and register and report this person that's abusing you. Now, the crime stats, the second quarter crime stats between July and September 2022, presented by Police Minister Becky Taylor, revealed that over 13,000 women were victims of assault with intent to cause grievous bodily harm. That's only the cases that were reported. Never mind those that were not reported, only those that were reported. How many women have not reported it? It also showed that 1,277 women were victims of attempted murder and 989 women were murdered during this reporting period, while there were over 10,000 rape cases, right? Opened with the SEPs between July and September. That is unacceptable. Dear women, dear sisters in Islam, brothers, if you know somebody that's going through this difficulty, women, if you are going through this difficulty, please report it. We do not want you to fall victim to these scoundrels who are taking advantage of you. Right. Coming on to our last story for this evening, and I want to share that with you. Very, very important story with regards to staying private online, privacy online. We know my daughter, and I'm sure your children at home, whether it's boys and girls, are on the various platforms on Facebook, on TikTok, and a whole lot of other channels, right? How do you know, as an adult, how do your children know that the person Muhammad Yusuf, right, or Shiraz, or Sadiq, or Faisal, sitting on the other side on the platform under that profile is really a 16-year-old handsome boy with tons and tons of money and he comes from a good family. How do you know that is true? This person could have created a fake profile. Maybe he's a slob who is poor, who is waiting to take advantage of women and your daughter, and he's creating and he's chatting to them, and your daughter, are sending pictures to them, and he's sending their phone numbers, meeting places, and all of other stuff. Well, this is where Meta comes in. The tech giant has introduced new updates on Facebook and Instagram that makes it harder for potentially suspicious adults to interact with teens. Now, what's a suspicious adult? If you've watched the documentary or the movie or the series on Netflix called Dahmer, right? I mean, if you look at Jeffrey Dahmer, who would have suspected? Who would have suspected that he is that? Never. And you remember that story a few years back where two people were chatting online, and eventually it was a father and daughter, and they met in a hotel room. You remember that story? Whether true or not, the potential of it is really, really scary. Now, this move by Meta comes on the heels of Meta rolling out similar privacy defaults for teens on Instagram, aligns with its safety by design and best interest on a child frames network. All right, so very, very important there, dear listeners. Now, Meta said last year they shared some measures they take to protect teens from interacting with potentially suspicious adults. For example, they quote, "We restrict adults from messaging teens they are unconnected to or from seeing teens in their people you may know recommendations." Absolutely amazing. Facebook does that, Instagram does it, where it recommends friends for you. Now, protecting teens, in addition to the existing measures, Meta is now testing ways to protect teens from messaging suspicious adults they are unconnected to, and they say we know won't show them in teens people you may know recommendations. Now, what is a suspicious account? Basically, it's one that belongs to an adult that may have recently been blocked or reported by a young person. Example, as an extra layer of protection, they are also testing removing the message button on teens' Instagram accounts when they are viewed by suspicious adults altogether. Some of the protection tools, they've developed a number of tools so teens can let them know if something makes them feel uncomfortable while using our apps. And we are introducing new notifications that are encouraging them to use the tools, Meta said. So, what makes a teen uncomfortable? A half naked person, a full naked man sharing his pictures on all the different platforms. That is disgusting. Absolutely. First of all, it is haram in Islam. First of all, talking to somebody else is haram, but I don't want to go into the religious aspect of intermingling and that kind of stuff. So Meta said, starting now, everyone who is under the age of 16 or under 18 in certain countries will be default into more private settings when they join Facebook. So I think that's a welcome, welcome relief. I really do hope that it deters those people from actually taking advantage for youngsters. So these are the things that Meta has introduced. They've encouraged teens already on the app to choose these more private settings for who can see their friends list, who can see the people pages list they follow, who can see posts they are tagged in on their profile, reviewing posts they are tagged in before the post appears on their profile, and who is allowed to comment on their public posts. Very important. And then let's come on to a very important story, sextortion. Meta also shared an update on the work it does to stop the spread of teens' intimate images online, particularly when these images are used to exploit them commonly known as sextortion. So Meta said the non-consensual sharing of intimate images can be extremely traumatic, and we want to do all we can to discourage teens from sharing these images on our apps in the first place. We are working with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to build a global platform for teens who are worried about intimate images they created might be shared on public platform. But besides that, right, you shouldn't be taking intimate pictures of yourself anyway. Your brother can get all of your phone, your friend can get all of your phone. Maybe you left your phone aside, and if it's accessible, these photos can actually make their way to the public domain. So please be careful. And Meta added that it is planning to launch a new campaign that encourages people to stop and think before resharing lurid images online and to report them to Meta instead. So, dear listeners, that's a full show this evening, speaking about the 16 days of violence against women and children, speaking about the new Samsung Galaxy phone, speaking about the Quanele app, and also speaking about Meta. Very, very important. I want you to all stay safe online. It doesn't matter. It could be a Hindu, it could be a Christian, it could be a Muslim, it could be a Jew, it could be anybody. And they are, I'm not saying all people are bad. I'm not saying that. But in a basket, you do get one or two rotten eggs. And sometimes, they can take advantage of you and of your children. And that is absolutely devastating. How would you feel as a father or as a mother that you come home and your daughter or your son got this bad news of something horrible to them? I will just go absolutely ballistic. And if you've seen that movie with Samuel L. Jackson, I can't remember the name now, where a little girl, a little black girl, that was actually raped by three white men. Obviously, it's fiction, right? But I just want to give you an example that a little girl, a black girl, that was raped by three black men. I think it's called A Time to Kill. That's what it's called, if I'm not mistaken, starring Samuel L. Jackson, Matthew McConaughey, and it involves, I just want to share this with you quickly, about a little black girl, probably around 6, 7 years old, that was raped by three black men. After they raped her, they urinated on her, they hanged her, and they threw her and left her for dead. And Samuel L. Jackson in the movie goes absolutely ballistic when they arrested the three guys. He takes a gun and he shoots all of them dead while they appeared in court, before they appeared in court. And I don't want to sort of spoil it for you. Please actually watch it on, if you do watch TV or movies, watch it and you can see this court case that it goes through. I'm not going to give you the results, but please do check it out. So anyway, that concludes the program for this evening. Jazakallah so much for tuning in again to the Tech Show. If there's anything that you want to share or ask me, you can do it on the various platforms. That's on Twitter at Faizel Patel 143, on Facebook.com/Faizel Patel, on Instagram at Faizel Patel 143, and also on my YouTube channel where there's a number of videos on tech related unboxings and reviews. Very difficult to be a successful YouTuber in South Africa. Please do subscribe to the channel and also hit the like button. The last video I did was with regards to the Asus ZenBook Fold 17-inch OLED. Check that out, the world's first foldable laptop. Absolutely amazing device. Please like that video as well. So until next time, please do take care of yourself and each other. Remember to stay safe. Tomorrow is another day. It's Cyber Monday. Whether you're going shopping or whatever it is, please stay safe. It's madness out there, especially with people running for specials and stuff. So and stay safe on the roads as well. The weather is in very difficult conditions, adverse weather conditions, rain, sunshine, and Malaysia South obviously suffering with power outages. Hence, I'm in studio this evening. Couldn't do it from home because no internet connectivity. So from myself, Faizel Patel, and my engineer for this evening, Brother Sadiq, please take care of yourself in each other. Remember the Ummah, your du'as, and remember the rest of the Ummah and the ill and all those people that are going through difficulty, challenges, and the marhumin that have passed away as well in your du'as. Fi amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.